Hi guys, Shemo Polot here, welcome back to the channel. So, I ran a survey recently about how people use technology in their work or in their businesses, and I got a bunch of information. And so this video is about the bare minimum kind of technology that I recommend you incorporate into your personal work or into your business. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 applications, software, stuff like that that you can use. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first one is if you're working in a company or if you are doing a business, managing a bunch of people, or maybe even just managing yourself, you probably need some sort of program management tool, project management tool. And there's so many out there. There's Asana, there is MeisterTasks, there is Trello, there is ClickUp. You may have heard of some of these. And they can be a bit complicated, but I definitely do recommend that you use them. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek at what they look like. They look something like this. And what you do is usually you just sort of add cards, and these white little blobs are cards, and you just sort of add cards. These blocks here could be departments, they could be tasks, it could be to do, doing, and done. Whatever way you choose to style them, it's really up to you. And then you can assign tasks to different people in your company or in your organization or in your business and things like that. They're a really cool way for you to manage different tasks on several projects at the same time. However, when it comes to technology, these things can always get a bit hectic. So I don't want to recommend technology to you if you're very much a person who just writes in a book, because if it's working for you, I know a ton of rich people that have never used a computer, so do bear that in mind. However, look into these program management tools because they can be really useful if you're into that kind of thing. And also, when you ignore Asana and ClickUp and MeisterTask and Trello, you can always use my favorite, you could always use Excel. Excel can definitely be used as a program management tool. The challenge is it doesn't do as good of a job in sending you alerts and things like that, and sending you reminders for tasks that are overdue and things like that. You still have to manually go into Excel to actually figure out what's going wrong, right? Or whether or not someone has done a task or not. However, if you're a person who is in Excel all the time, then you don't need to get alerts because you're in there anyway. So think about that. All right, so the second tool I want to talk about is some sort of analytics tool. So now this could either be an application, or it could be, again, you guessed it, it could be Excel. Excel is free, or Google Sheets is free. So those two can handle most of the analytics you need to do in your business. And so I definitely recommend you get some small experience in Excel or Google Sheets that will allow you to do some sort of analytics in your business or even at work. And if that's something you're interested in doing, then you should definitely subscribe to this channel if you aren't already, because I do share a bunch of tips and tricks in Google Sheets and Excel that will allow you to be more productive in your work. So check that out. Otherwise, you could use a bunch of the accounting software that compute a bunch of information for you already. Accounting software like QuickBooks, accounting software like Tally, like Wave, like Zoho. Those are almost rarely free. Tally is free, I think. QuickBooks is not free. Zoho Books is free to an extent. It's definitely something you should look into. But yeah, otherwise, you definitely need some sort of analytics tool to help you manage the information in your business. The third thing you might need is a sort of task manager. Okay, these again, there's so many out there. This is the kind of stuff that gets me really excited, but I can see why it could be a distraction for a lot of people. Again, you might be a person who just likes to wake up in the morning and write in a notebook saying, I have to get X, Y, and Z done today. But you could also do X, Y, and Z in an app, of course. So some of the task managers that I recommend, Google Tasks. Google Tasks is right in your inbox, in your Gmail inbox, or in your Google Drive right here on the side. Google Tasks is a good way to just keep track of really menial tasks. It's not too fancy. So if you have complex tasks and you want to assign them to different people, then Google Tasks might not do it for you. But there's Google Tasks you should look into. There is Todoist. Todoist is fantastic. The free version is more than able to do everything you need to do as far as task management is concerned. You can assign different tasks to different people. You can assign priorities to tasks. You can split tasks into projects. It's fantastic. I use it all the time and I love it. You should check it out. Another big one is Notion. Notion is also a project management tool, but also a task manager at the same time. Notion is like a super app. At this point, Notion is like trying to absorb all the functionality from all these different apps we've talked about. And so especially if you use the paid for version, Notion can pretty much do everything, but has a bit of a steep learning curve. So that one I would just say go slow. But otherwise, for regular task management, and there are a lot of templates out there already made in Notion that can allow you to do a bunch of the stuff that you already need to do, so you don't have to struggle too much. It is fantastic, but again, steep learning curve, and you also don't want to just get stuck in a rabbit hole of technology, which happens sometimes, which is why I'm making this video, so I can tell you use this, don't use this. So use Todoist, use Google Tasks, use a paper and pen, but check out Notion as well if it's something you might be interested in, and you'll be able to manage your tasks a little better. Okay. The fourth tool, you'll need some sort of word processor. I recommend Google Docs over Microsoft Word just because Microsoft Word is not free. Google Docs can pretty much do everything that the average person needs to do as far as collaborating in documents and typing up reports and even typing up newsletters and things like that. Google Docs can do all that for you seamlessly. Word, of course, has a lot more functionality than Google Docs because it's been around for a lot longer. But Microsoft Word isn't free unless you have a cracked version, which, you know, that's on you. But Google Docs I recommend using Google Docs if you're trying to start off with low cost and things like that. Really great for collaboration and for editing documents with a bunch of teams. Definitely check out Google Docs. And I also have a bunch of videos on Google Docs if you're interested. Check here. Or is it here? Check here if you want to watch some of the videos on Google Docs, a bunch of productivity tips. Fantastic. The fifth tool you will need is some sort of communications tool, which is just a way for you to communicate internally with your staff. And so you can use a bunch of them. You can always use good old-fashioned email. The big email giants out there are Outlook and Gmail. So if that's something that you're into, Outlook is not free, but, well, it's sort of free. It's a bit tricky depending on how you're using it. You can use it for free, but also but Gmail is probably the biggest and most popular email platform that everyone uses, and you can definitely survive on just emailing back and forth with a bunch of your staff or your employees or people in your company. Gmail works fantastically well, and it also has the whole Google ecosystem behind it, which makes it even better. But then also you have tools like Slack, and Slack has a free version and a paid for version, but still the free version could be enough for your business, at least in the start, and you're able to communicate with your people internally and be productive that way. Again, I must caution you, a lot of these things can take you down a rabbit hole of technology, but Slack could be pretty useful just depending on what your needs are. Otherwise, email works fine, or just pick up the phone and call someone, okay? Six, we want to talk about you need some sort of storage platform where you store all your documents, all your memorandum of articles, all your tax information, all your proposals and stuff like that, and customer lists, everything that is created from all these other apps need to be stored somewhere, okay? Now, if you're manual, then you can just get a box file, but online, I recommend Google Drive. There are a bunch of other storage platforms out there. There's Dropbox, there's Box, there is OneDrive from Microsoft, but there is no platform that offers you more space for free than Google Drive. The free tier for Google Drive starts at 15 GB, and yes, that does include everything you do in Google's ecosystem, including Gmail, but still, 15 gigs to start is the best deal you will get on the market, period. Okay, so start with Google Drive. I absolutely recommend it. And if you want a video on Google Drive, I believe I did one as well. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check that one out. The next app that I want to talk about is not necessarily related to work, but something essential for your life. There's an Android app called 7-Minute Workout, which allows you to do 7-minute workouts. I think working out it should be an essential part of your day. And so if you can't download an app, then just get into your browser and type youtube.com and search for 20-minute workouts, 15-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts. I've done 2 of those, and I'll leave a link in the description below. But yeah, you need to work out because it's good for your health and it helps you be a lot more productive and a lot more energetic. So definitely look into a way to get a bunch of workouts in, okay? Number 8, what you need is some sort of design platform where you can create flyers and things like that for your business. And honestly, the gold standard is Canva. Canva is fantastic. The free version of Canva is good enough for you to create most of the visuals and the flyers that you create for your business to invite people for events and things like that. So yeah, check out Canva if you need to create social media flyers and stuff where you can slap your logo on there and send it out to customers, okay? However, Canva has a paid for version which gives you access to even more of its features, which are just absolutely fantastic. If you can pay for Canva, I think it's like $12 a month or something. It's a bit expensive, but if you can pay for it, I absolutely recommend it. You'll not regret it, because the number of things you can do on Canva are just mind-blowing. But otherwise, it's good enough for just making basic flyers for your business, so check it out. Number 9, I think you need a survey tool. You need a way to collect feedback from your customers and from prospective customers, so definitely get a survey tool. There are so many out there. The freest and the most basic one is Google Forms, so definitely start there. You can build your surveys out in Google Forms. However, if you want a bit more customizability and a bit more forms that look prettier, nicer, cuter, whatever you want to call it, then I recommend you look into other platforms like Tally.so, Typeform, SurveyMonkey, Qualtrics. These are all platforms that also create surveys, but most of them have sort of restrictions because they're fancy and they've invested in them, and so most of them have paid for tiers otherwise. But even their free versions, honestly, for the average person, are good enough. And the advantage on Google Forms is that they allow you to change up the survey a bit more, add your own colors for your company and things like that, and change one of the buttons and the way they look, change the fonts and things like that. So the customizability is usually what separates those platforms from Google Forms. But otherwise, if you don't want stress, then just use Google Forms. But you absolutely need to use some sort of survey tool to collect feedback from your customers. Absolutely. Speaking of which, I'm still doing a survey on using technology in your business, so there's a link in the description below if you want to fill out the survey for me really quickly. It takes 1 minute or less. And number 10, and finally, one of the applications I think you absolutely need is some sort of accounting system. Separate from the program management system, you need some sort of accounting system that allows you to control all your sales and your income and all that stuff with your customers. And most people have to pay a lot of money for this stuff. The QuickBooks of this world is able to do all that stuff. But there are some free options. Wave used to be free, and then they locked us out. They locked all the people in Africa out, so you can't really use a Wave account if you didn't create one before 2020 or something like that. But Zoho Books, I absolutely recommend you look into Zoho Books. You can be able to create receipts and invoices, and all that information that goes through there can be managed, and you'll get reports monthly, weekly, annually, whatever you want. So check out Zoho Books. It's a good alternative for Wave. I still use Wave because I created a Wave account ages ago. So I'm able to create invoices and receipts, and I have reports for all the business transactions that I have. So, but if you didn't create a Wave account ages ago, then you can't use it. But Zoho Books will absolutely do everything you need to do to manage your accounting system. However, when it gets a bit more complex, then you might need to build a point of sale system on your own, which I can help you with. So message me if you need one. But that's it. I've talked so much. But yes, those are 10 pieces of technology that could really help you in your business. It can be a bit intimidating, but hopefully that this video sets you on a path to sort of familiarize yourself with some of these tools. And if you have any challenges, and if you want me to make any videos on any of these tools, then let me know in the description below in the comments, and I'll be happy to make a video about any of them. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.